when talking about the transformation journey, most people show externally, like they show weight loss pictures and everything. Mine was internal, yet you could kind of see externally that it did make a difference, which is pretty interesting. I mean, I do feel like I look better, even though despite the fact that I don't sleep or anything. Other than, I wish my skin was a little better, but it reflects on what's going on internally. I definitely believe that. And my journey started about 20 years ago when I was exposed to Dr. David Hawkins. Because prior to that, I wasn't really spiritual. I was kind of agnostic. And Dr. David Hawkins was just such an amazing spirit. And I didn't really understand what he was saying, but it resonated with my heart. And I would just go to his seminars and learn. And I ended up running study groups and really, really did the spiritual work and started doing it and trying to be out there. That was the beginning of my therapy career. So I had a lot of hope. And I was even connected with Rinpoche that had faith in me to open up the first Dharma house in the United States, and I opened it in the U.S. with Bridget. I mean, it was at that moment it was a lot of positivity, but then a lot of negativity, and especially when I was more exposed, I realized in a psychology, spirituality, the community is actually very negative, and I felt very disheartened. It's like, wait a minute, you guys are supposed to be loving. No, that wasn't the case. And that kind of really brought me down, because at the time I was still in my ego a lot more. I was very much a codependent, very much influenced what people thought. Yeah, I would go after what I wanted, but it was there's a lot of force against it, that I knew the difference. I stopped. I was really trying to go after it, but at that point I just said I gave up, and I guess I wasn't ready. I mean, that was when all that happened was around 15 years ago, and when you have the people closest to you, your mate or something, being very negative and really show a lack of faith in you, it's really hard to go forward. And so I kind of gave up. I gave up on the spiritual aspect. I actually wanted to get out of therapy, but something happened. I needed to make more money, so I went back into it. Luckily, I made a lot, and started getting into it, and had good clients. But then I started getting burned out. I would say the last 4 years, especially the last 2 years, it's hearing people just be so negative and be so egocentric. I mean, I do not like how society is nowadays. People say people are more open. No, they're not woke. That's not woke. That's being in their ego. And they're more and more in the matrix. And I would say with everything, all of this has been a process for me. But the last 6 months, I've noticed a major shift, because my tolerance have gotten a lot less. I could see the difference between someone truly being stuck in their egos and someone that's not. And what I believe, I refer to the Matrix a lot. If you've seen the movie, it's slightly different what I think. And it's interesting because my boyfriend tells me, you shouldn't be bringing up the Matrix because people are not going to take you seriously. And this is the difference with me this time. This time I said, I'm going to do the way I do it. I'm not going to try to explain things that is more popular, because then my heart's not into it. I'm not here to get fame or success. I'm here to do what God wants me to do. I feel that this is my service to the world, but at the same time, I'm not gonna not charge because I need the money. I'm not like Tony Robbins, who is a mentor for me right now. Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosa's, or motivational mentors that I recently have been studying a lot that have helped me push through my blocks to be able to continue with the spiritual growth and help people. So I really thank them. I'm still going and learning from them. And my spiritual mentors are Dr. David Hawkins and Dr. Viktor Frankl, existentialist. So you gotta have mentors, but the shift happened just like I just couldn't take it anymore. And I'm like, I gotta make a change. And with the concept of the matrix, I guess like seeing how much my clients have changed, watching them and watching myself, seeing the difference of like how I'm not attached anymore. Like I still am in my ego, but much different. So basically, the way I look at the world is that we are spiritual beings. Okay, we have our intuition. We're spirits, and we come into the body. And when we come to the body actually has the ego attached to it. So the ego is part of it. It's a primitive brain. It's like an old computer, like from 50 years ago, that's attached to it. And it's programmed with all the previous lifetimes or all the previous crap that we've done is all part of that program. So our spirits come in, we forget that we're spirits. So we come in and we go right into that computer, that round old building, and we get stuck in there. And we think that that's a reality. But the reality is actually the abundant world that we can do whatever we want. The fantasy is the delusion that we're living in the ego world, because the ego is our narcissistic core. And I'm realizing that, and I see that, so I believe that that's like the matrix. And once we start believing that this is not real, that's when life changes. We realize we have free will. And subconsciously, I always knew that. And that's where I think people would get angry because they try to control me, try to change me. They couldn't, even though I was influenced by them. I wasn't that influenced, but I just doubted myself. And I needed to learn. Experience is what happens. That was 15 years ago. I'm 51 years old now. I think I'm finally getting it, one of those people needs time. But basically, I feel that, like everyone's like in we're in the matrix, and we peep out and we see the potential. And we're like, I want that. And then I help my clients put their foot out and experience the abundance. But what happens is in that process, they go right back into the ego when things get difficult. And that's where I was. I was stepping out, going after my dream, and then they would attack me. I go straight into the ego, like, oh, I can never do this. Nobody likes me, that kind of thing. But now I haven't gone back into the ego. And I'm not allowing myself to stop. I'm stopping the sabotage. And that's why it's so much more powerful. That's why I have my workshop. My first workshop after 15 years is the initial one I had, but more. It's on Stop Self-Sabotage, because I know the whole process, that we really learn the tools to overcome that by really finding meaning in our life. And then from there, I help people let go, learn how to do the letting go process, and learn to discern. It's a very powerful step. And I have a spiritual community on Facebook called the Discerning Mystics Community. And so if you're interested in my Stop Sabotage workshop, okay, that's happening September 20th on Saturday from 4 to 7 online. Please click on my bio, DM me, and tell me you're interested, and I will definitely sign you up. The prices are so low, it's worth it. 3-hour workshop, and we're gonna, and part of the community, we're gonna interact. But that's the shift, and I'm determined to go forward. And I love it, and I'm excited to share it. My name is Mahasti. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and discerning mystic. Bye.